The ANC in KwaZulu-Natal is throwing its weight behind Dr. Zweli Mkhize for ANC President. Pule Letswhiti-Jones also getting the nod for the position of a deputy president of the party. The other nominated candidates include Stan Mathabata as the chairperson, Phumulo Masualle as secretary general, and Nomvula Mokonyane as the deputy secretary general. Well, let's get an update on this development and see what kind of reaction and analysis is available this hour with Pule Letswhiti-Jones. Pule, good afternoon. Interesting times. It's going to get more and more interesting as we move to December for the ANC's National Elective Conference. Now, KZN ANC coming up and saying these are our preferred candidates. So overall sentiment or feeling or reaction since this announcement?
Well, I spoke to a political analyst who says that, in fact, this shouldn't determine the president's fate in the ANC when having to contest for the second term within the organization. In fact, we know that Gauteng, Limpopo, Northern Cape, Eastern Cape have preferred the president to go on for second term. However, KZN, the ANC's biggest province, saying that they are not giving the go-ahead with the president having to go in for second term. In fact, like you've said, they're preferring Dr. Zweli Mkhize as, of course, coming from the branches to go in as president and deputy president for Pule Letswhiti-Jones. This comes in the wake of the eThekwini region, which is the largest region in KZN, also having pronounced that it will support Dr. Zweli Mkhize as president and, of course, Pule Letswhiti-Jones as deputy. So we're seeing these kind of dynamics coming up. I mean, they've made it quite clear as well that they wouldn't be showing their support for the president, and this is not something which we should be shocked about. In fact, political analysts believe as much as KZN has thrown their hat for Dr. Zweli Mkhize to be the president, it shouldn't impact the president's fate in the organization, or future rather. We can just take a listen to what one of the analysts had to say earlier on.
Firstly, we need to look at the leadership vacuum that exists within the ANC. It has been a while since we've seen so many various candidates for various positions within the top six of the ANC in a while, actually. That, to one, signals a leadership vacuum within the ANC, and it suggests that the leadership bar within the ANC has dropped so low that many within the ANC believe they have what it takes to lead the movement in the top six. That's firstly a point for concern within the ANC itself, even though some might argue that it shows democracy within the party. But the plethora of candidates making themselves available or being touted as potential top six members within the ANC should raise concerns about the caliber of people the top six of the ANC tends to attract of late.
Very interestingly, we've mentioned all these top positions of the ANC, the top six leadership, Pule. There's one position that we haven't mentioned, the Treasurer General one. And I saw the press briefing by Begim Tolo, the secretary. They're saying that the KZN ANC, KZN prefers to have a female in that role, but they don't have a name yet, and they will be consulting with their various provinces.
Yeah, also maybe this speaks to a line of credibility amongst the leadership within the organization as well. They're of the view that this has to be one position that's occupied by a female candidate. In fact, it has to speak to the ANC resolution, which speaks to the gender parity as well. This is something they've been largely criticized for as an organization, to say that they haven't living up to that expectation. But of course, KZN saying they would like if Nomvula Mokonyane could be Secretary General Deputy, and they believe that there would be a good move to have her within that position.
So you'd have
as well.
two women in the top six, if that happened, if the Treasurer General became a woman.
Well, looking at the ANC's constitution, it speaks about 50-50, so they would have to meet that threshold. But it seems as though we will be going to that position of having more male than female candidates within taking those positions in the ANC as well.
Well, interestingly for KwaZulu-Natal, there's a man who lives in eNCA. I don't know if you remember him. He's the former president of the ANC. Just overnight, he issued a statement through his spokesperson, Vugile Matabela, just restating his preference for Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma, who went for the presidency in 2017, saying he has not changed that. I wonder what sentiment and reaction you've been picking up around that.
The former president has always made it quite clear that he's available. I don't know if you know of a video that's always gone viral where he makes a joke to say if they want him to come back into position, he'll be available. In fact, this time around in this 6-page letter, he's saying that if the branches want him to come in as the chairperson of the organization, he will be available.
So not only is he still supportive of his former wife, Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma, for the presidency, he's also picking up his hand to say, if I'm asked by the branches to be the chairperson, as it's being rumored or speculated, I'm ready and I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, being relevant within the political space is something which is very important, especially when consolidating for power and making sure that you're relevant amongst your caucus leaders in the organization. Political analysts believe this is one move that the former president is trying to clinch on. But, of course, in that letter, he also says that he's quite surprised that the very same people who have been endorsed for presidency are the very same people who supported President Ramaphosa in 2017 at Nazareth. So one would also analyze that he's taking a jab at Dr. Zweli Mkhize as well. And this is just how political dynamics are actually unfolding. But let's just take a listen to what one of the political analysts had to say about this.
The challenge for President or former President Zuma was that, and it remains actually, is that him being turned into this symbolic figure that those who oppose the current leadership of the ANC, have chosen to make him. He has confused that with a level of influence that he might possess, which is not necessarily the case. I do not see any province nominating the former president for any top 6 position within the ANC. In fact, the former president currently is a member of the NEC in the ANC as an ex-officio by virtue of having served as the party president. But I do not see any province giving that kind of space. Former president was reduced to a political mascot, but those who claimed to be RET forces within the ANC, and he actually confused that for a level of influence that he still wields within the party. But then again, there's this element of cult of personality within the ANC. Some genuinely actually made the former president a cult leader. Some rode on that bandwagon to serve their own political interest. And I think those who want to serve their own political interest have actually emerged more influential in that process of making the former president this symbolic figure to rally around in terms of opposing the current leadership within the ANC.
Yeah, one thing you must know for sure, within the ANC in the next 2 to 3 months, there's going to be a lot of what is called horse trading, as province and province look at their nominations and say, but who do we want to support here? It's going to be interesting weeks leading up to December for the ANC's 55th National Elective Congress.